guys, Joe here. So in this video I want to talk about appreciation and gratitude. So the reason why this is coming up is because over the weekend I got pulled over for a registration that was expired. Granted, it was extremely expired. Basically it was from 2021 and it's 2023, right? And so anyway, I'm all the way, I end up going down the shore, so I'm about an hour and 15 minutes from my home, and I am literally like 4 blocks from our house down the shore. And so I got pulled over, and they took my car, right? So today I had to drive, I went to the DMV, which I'm kicking myself because it literally took like no time. Like I scheduled the appointment and like in, out, done in 5 minutes. 5 minutes I could have avoided all this. But so what I was doing is I was driving a different vehicle. I don't like the car. It was a car that we were using for the fence company, and basically anything over like 65 miles an hour, it's like vibrating, and like it was a 2012 Ford Focus, so it's a small car. Now the car I typically drive, I'm always like hesitant to even like sell this thing, but it's 2009, but it's a Pontiac G8. It was my baby when I first got it, but then after the kids, it kind of got neglected. It doesn't have Bluetooth, hence why I wear the earpiece, things like that when I'm talking. But it's basically free, and there's basically none of these things out there, and I just love the car. It's got it's like 355 horsepower. But then I had put like an intake and like changed out the exhaust and have a tune in it, so it's going to be higher than that. And it still is a nice looking car. But like it's so easy. Like I was just looking at vehicles online not too long ago, actually about a week ago, and like it's like, oh, it would be really nice to have this and everything else. And but then when basically the car was taken away, I finally got it back, and I'm like, I like this car, right? I just wish it would have, literally, if it would just have Bluetooth and a backup camera, like I'd be set. Which I could probably add that stuff in there, but just haven't. And so anyway, that's really the purpose of the video, just kind of talking about like the things that we don't appreciate everything that we own. There's been like different meditations and stuff where basically it will take you down this path of like thinking like what happens, like things that we take for granted all the time, like as far as like things like walking, right? So if you're able to walk, and then imagining yourself being confined to a wheelchair for the rest of your life, and and then automatically it's like, oh my god, like I'm so happy that I literally can like walk, or the fact that I'm able to still drive in this car, instead of having like one of those like vans, like things of that nature. And to get a little more on the woo-woo side, right, is they talk about these vibration levels. And like depending on how you're feeling, you're at a different vibration level. And like what you'll start noticing is that depending on your vibration level, you would like the same vibrations, they kind of like attract each other, right? And this is where like mindset and thinking come in as well. Because when I left, I was at the warehouse, and then I was going down the shore. Like it was really just to check on the property, as well as I needed to get a brace for my wrist because it's still jacked up, and my wife wanted the weights, so I was picking that stuff up. But I'm leaving to go down there, and I'm like, I'm gonna get pulled over. Like I just know, like I'm gonna get fucking pulled over. And sure enough, I got pulled over. But I also know that whatever we like kind of project out into the world kind of like happens, right? And it sounds weird, but I do believe in it, and this is coming from an atheist, right? And because I've seen it happen time and time again. So after that happened, right, after I got pulled over and I'm walking, after I got pulled over and they took my car, he's like, the cop was trying to be nice, and he's like, hey, you want to do you want me to drive you? I'm like, no, I'm like 2 blocks away. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I need to walk. Like, I need to calm my ass down because like my fucking car just got taken, right? Along with like laundry list of other issues that have been happening. Not even issues, like there's a laundry list of freaking hurdles that have been in my way for the last, several weeks that I'm dealing with. And I get over one, but then like, I'm on to the next one while other hurdles and roadblocks are kind of headed my way. And I'm like, no, I just need to walk. Like, I need to clear my head. So going back to this thought, like, we kind of attract like what we think about in this world. The thing that came into my mind is my wife's cousin. She, like, for whatever reason, she's like a magnet. Oh my God, what is this car doing? She is like a magnet for bad shit to happen to her, right? Either, oh my God, like, you are really veering off the road there. Jesus. So, she's constantly getting hurt or financial problems or whatever. She just can't seem to dig herself out, but I know it's what she thinks about all the time as well. So I'm talking to myself, as crazy as it sounds, I'm talking to myself as I'm like walking home. I'm like, I gotta stop thinking about this shit, right? And because it's February, it's still slow. I fully believe in this business, but it's another set of problems, right? Because you have to have all this material, so you need a lot more capital up front, which I could have been better prepared for, but that's okay, because I know I'll make it through. And I'm like, I gotta stop thinking about this, right? And I need to stop thinking about like the bills that are due or the material that I need or whatever it is. And I have to start remembering that there is plenty of work, there's plenty of money, there's plenty of contractors that I can start working with, right? And so right before I had left and got my car towed, I end up going through like for my service area, and I was looking at numbers, and I just needed to, like, for me, like I just need to see numbers. It's not like a feeling kind of thing for me. It's like I need like evidence, right? And so I pulled up like all the areas that we deliver to, and I looked, and I'm like, there's 5,500 people a month that type in fence company near me. And so I work backwards, and I'm like, based upon my numbers, I only need 3% of these people. And this is only searching fence company near me. This isn't the people searching on Facebook. It's not when they type in vinyl fence installation. It's literally just one keyword. So there's probably more than likely like double. Like there's probably 10,000 people. So really I only need like literally 0.5%. But anyway, so I reminded myself of that, like when I'm walking back to my house, I'm like, there is, there's plenty of work out there. It's just a slow time of year. There's plenty of contractors and blah, 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 right? And so what happens? Literally, like, not a lie, like 10 minutes later, contractor calls me. And they're like, hey, been getting, blah, blah, blah. And, I'm going to get some pricing and, that kind of thing. Right? Then, like an hour later, someone else called, right? So, long story short, we need to be grateful for what we have. It's going to put us in a better vibration level, right? Which sounds crazy. I'm fully aware of that, right? My wife calls me crazy all the time, and I'm okay with that. And this isn't for a lot of people, especially I think on the contracting side. It's not really like the meditation, yoga crowd kind of deal, which is fine. But it's also, I feel like it's my job to kind of like open up your world to these kinds of thoughts and kind of, stuff like that. And, that's where, being grateful, it's going to raise your vibration level, right? We need to focus on the things we want in life, not the things that we don't want. A good example for this is, and I should probably do a separate video, and I probably will, is that they talk about like race car drivers, right? So like when they are racing, they are instructed not to look at the wall they're trying to avoid. They are trained to focus on where they want to go. So if there's like a wreck going on and someone's got in an accident or whatever else and they have to veer and shit out of the way, they are trained to focus on where they want to go. Why? Because where we focus is where we go. It happens all the time. We take this in for like, I'm like trying to improve my surfing, right? Can't really surf right now because of the injuries, but I should be back for the summer. But they say the same thing. We're not looking we're not looking to where we're gonna fall. We're looking to where we want to go. Like if there's closeouts in the waves, like wherever we want to go, like that's where we focus, right? I even noticed myself doing this for I was playing Mario Kart with my son, right? And a lot of times I would always, like, if there was a banana peel left in the road, right? My focus was like, don't hit the banana, don't hit the banana, don't hit the banana. What do? I drive right into that fucking banana, right? So it happens all the time. Like, it's, so we want to focus on where we want to go, and that is it. So that's number one. Focus on what we want, right? Not what we don't want. You know, if I keep on, that's why I kept on saying to myself, like, I can't keep on focusing on these bills, right? You know, things, how am I going to make this money? It's not how I'm going to make the money. It's like, how do I find those contractors, right? So think about that. But again, raising your vibration, feeling naturally happier, right? And that could mean a few things. If this means that you're constantly, like during the, you know, Donald Trump era, you know, if you're constantly either for or against, I don't care what side, because I'm not political whatsoever, because I still feel, unless I am part of the 1%, it really doesn't matter for me anyway. It's how I feel, right? And, so, but if you're constantly focused on all the things that are wrong in life, you're going to find more of that stuff, right? So, I'm dealing with the same thing at home. So right now we're having a lot of issues with my son. And one of the things that the therapist just talked about, and it's, you know, for dealing with my son, but also for my wife as well, because there's a lot of like butting heads there, is that I need to, kind of like what we do with my 2-year-old, is like whenever she does anything that we really want her to do, like we're like, yay, yay ho, clapping, and you know, that kind of stuff. And because we're actively looking for things to applaud her on, and then what ends up happening is she just does more of it because she wants to be applauded, right? So I have to do the same thing with my son, which is difficult because, like, legit, he will torture the living shit out of me. Like, it's unbearable, right? But what ends up happening, I'm able to like let that stuff go really quickly, whereas my wife not so much, because it's not like, oh, I get tortured for 5 minutes. No sir, it's like I'm getting tortured for a legit hour straight. And even the therapist is like, I'm having trouble like composing myself as well, because like he doesn't want to say it, but he's like, your son's an asshole. Like, it's more or less like that. But it's also because we haven't done a good enough job focusing on the things that we want. We only focus on the things we don't want, and you know, we're correcting that constantly instead of being like, hey, good job on this, hey, this wasn't perfect, but thanks for trying, like those kinds of things. So another video where I ramble on multiple different things, but I hope this is helpful to someone. Sorry about the shit up in this corner. It's how I put the thing on there, and oh, it's like maybe not. There we go. I'll just do that. So hopefully this stuff helps you. Again, most of these videos, it's pretty much me just trying to help in whatever way I can. It's basically what I'm going through in my life at this current point in time, and like how I'm kind of dealing with it. Just because, again, like if you don't know my story, and you know, I've owned a fence company. We're in the process of selling the fence company. My whole life I've been focused on how to make more money because I'm always broke and blah blah blah. And you know, 2018 came a period in time where like there was money in the bank. You know, not rich by any means, but like plenty of money in the bank, and didn't have to worry about anything. And I still wasn't happy. And so basically that one thing that I was focused on my entire life, I just couldn't, you know, and I finally got it, and so like, it was like that mindset of like, hey, once I finally get this, then I'll be happier, or, you know, things will get better. And then it came, and the things didn't get any easier, right? And then it makes life really difficult, because like when you're focusing on the one thing in life that if you feel like if you just get that one thing, it's going to make everything better, and it doesn't, then you're like, shit, what do I do now? Which is a great quote by Tony Robbins, which is, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Because like if you achieve what you really want, but you don't like feel great about it, once you get it, you're like, fuck, like what do I do now? It's a really hard place to be. So I spent, you know, 2018, 2019, really deep dive and like trying to be happy and things like that. So that's where we're kind of at this point. So it's, you know, it's always a, you know, I guess where I'm at in my life right now is constantly trying to find things that make me happy with this new business. Like, I love it, like I really do. But of course, there's all these roadblocks in the way from where I want to be to where, you know, where I am now to where I want to be. And it's kind of like me just talking about how I'm kind of dealing with it. So I'm not an expert by any means. I do what I can, and hopefully it all kind of, you know, works out. So talk to you soon.